And hello everyone, Ken here, aka ImmortanG, and welcome to this iRacing video. And for this one, we're going to take a quick look at the big content drops and some of the small details you might have missed from the iRacing's new 2025 Season 1 update. Let's get into it. All right, and here are some of the new items that came. And first up, we're going to take a look at a new entry-level sports car that has come to the service, the BMW M2 CSR. Now, this one relies mostly on mechanical grip with a slight touch of aero, but it's another good entry for entry-level drivers and veterans alike to get back to the basics. Now, it comes free with the iRacing membership, and a new rookie series is added called the BMW M2 Cup. And we'll get into the schedule updates a little bit later in this video. And next on our list here, we have the Acura NSX GT3 Evo 22. Now, this is a new addition to the GT3 class, and it debuted in real life in IMSA back in 2022, hence the 22. Now, this brings the total GT3 field to 10 manufacturers to choose from now. Now, early anecdotal reactions from some videos and some mentions on Reddit and message boards and such been pretty positive overall, and essentially at the end of the day it kind of drives like a mid-engine GT3, but some say it's very similar to a Ferrari kind of, and a few reports of it being pretty stable on corner entry but a little understeery on corner exit, and possibly due to this fixed setup that is currently employed on them. Now, if you have been able to drive this car, please let us know in the comments below how you're liking it, how you're experiencing the driving of it, and is it a worthy new addition to the GT3 field. And next up on the list here, we have the Ferrari 499P, which is a new GTP class car. And this one will bring the number of manufacturers in the GTP class to 5 now. However, the addition also comes with some changes to the class tire model that isn't sitting well, and we'll get into that in a little bit here. And next up after that is a pretty big update for the Supercars, which is the premier touring series over Down Under in Australia. This includes a Supercar Chevy Camaro Gen 3 and the Supercar Ford Mustang Gen 3. Now, I recommend checking out Dave Cam's recent video where he gives both cars a test drive around Mount Panorama, as I do not own these cars and have never driven the Supercars. But they seem like a lot of fun. So that does it for all the cars, and now we have a couple tracks to quickly cover here. We have a new dirt oval track for you dirt racers out there, and this one's South Dakota's own Husets Speedway, and it's a high banked 1/3 mile bull ring track with night lighting as well, and it looks pretty nice actually. And for you road racers out there, there's a new course as well, Thruxton Circuit, which is located in Hampshire, England, and known as the fastest circuit in the UK. It has 12 turns, is 2.345 miles, that is 3.793 kilometers on its main configuration. And then last but not least, they did a full-scale art overhaul and track surface bump map regeneration of New Hampshire Motor Speedway, which also includes a couple road courses as well. All right, then moving on, we're going to take a look at some of the car updates. And I kind of touched on it when we covered the new Ferrari GTP, but the tire model parameters and the convection cooling and rain tire update has been applied to the GTP class. However, these new parameters are not without controversy at this time of the video, as seen in these posts, which are on the iRacing forums. The community is pointing out two main issues making the GTP unrealistically fast and breaking the immersion for a lot of people in comparison to the real world counterparts. Notably, number one, the hybrid engine is outputting power similar to a push to pass, or like how the battery works in the F1 cars, when in the real world the GTP hybrid works differently for more of efficiency and not so much for adding power. And the second big issue is that this new tire model is making the grip way too unrealistic, causing insane lap times and beating out the pace of F1 cars through some of the major high-speed corners on popular courses, and way too fast track times overall. Good news is Greg Hill did put a post in one of the popular threads talking about this, and he did mention here, as we can see in the post, hello, just a quick note that our team has been monitoring this feedback closely, as well as working to comprehensively understand the full scope of what has been shared and how it relates to current development plans and improvements already underway. We'll have a bit more info that we'll share soon, but for now, I just wanted to make sure you all knew that we are aware, we appreciate the feedback and passion, that this is important to us. We strive to deliver the best simulation of real-world racing possible, and this is the center tenet behind everything we do. More to come shortly. So good to see iRacing responding. And at the top, so they are looking into the issue. Okay, moving on from the GTBs, we have some updates with the NASCAR cars and trucks, where there's a rework of the aerodynamic damage penalties to provide greater downforce loss and a reduced drag penalty. The heavy damage to engines and wheels will be unrepairable in some cases as well going forward. Up next is the Dallara P217, which had a huge update as well. It had a full-scale vehicle systems revamp to suit the IMSA 24 LMP2 rule set. They also did some dry and wet tire model and parameter updates, along with a significant reduction to tire warm-up temperatures. And they made sure to note to take it easy on the outlaps. They also did some adjustments to the rev limits, which are now lower, and front drive planes and rear wing angles are now pit stop adjustable. And these are just a few of the changes that I highlighted. I have a long list. And finally, one of the other interesting changes I noted out of the car updates is that the McLaren 720S GT3 Evo is getting some BOP adjustments. So be careful out there to all you McLaren mains, as they might have slightly nerfed it here going into season 1, with increasing the fuel consumption rates and tire parameters slightly. All right, and then moving on, we're going to go a little bit under the hood at some more stealth changes, not so much up front, and more UI and system based. And first off, they have a demo drive, which is a new test drive service rebuilt from the ground up. That's pretty neat. And I guess it's going to be right off the current regular UI instead of going to a web-based service like it used to. And up next is probably the biggest update in this patch, which is the debris refresh. Now it includes mud and gravel has been added to the dirt, grass, and dust, etc. And all this debris is now easier to see and will have more significant impact on racing. And there are a ton of videos of people covering it already, so I'll just leave it at that. So of course, this is a big dynamic change that's coming to iRacing. I think it's going to be a big game changer in racing going forward, as it's going to just make racing in general just more dynamic, race to race, corner to corner. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out. And next one on the list here I haven't seen mentioned too much, and that's a netcode update. It'll be updates to the iRacing netcode to improve the experience for lagging drivers as well as everyone else in a race with them. So I'll be interested to see how much of effect that has. And if you've been racing so far week 13, have you noticed any changes? Let me know in the comments down below. And another minor change is they did some specular lighting upgrades. It's supposed to increase the contrast and reduction to some excessive brightness. So this is a long requested thing, I think. I know out there's a lot of guides of how to do like NVIDIA overlay, color overlays and stuff to kind of do some color correction in the game itself. I myself have never done that, but I can see why people want to do that. And I'm interested to see how much this will maybe take that extra step people have to do out of the equation going forward. And next up we have spotter improvements, and this is one that's pretty interesting actually, as the spotter will now inform you if damage received will have a negative impact on an aspect of your vehicle's performance. And I'll actually go over this in the next slide a little bit more in detail. And some other kind of minor ones, we have AI drivers now will use headlight flashing when passing, and AI racing systems are ready for the new content that just got released. The Formula V is now rain ready, along with the 5 vehicles that just came out. And there are about 400 plus updated setups been applied for the new season as well. And as I mentioned, the spotter updates in a little bit more detail here. You have engine damage, so you'll get notice of the engine power losses include slight, severe, or if it's totaled. Aerodynamic damage, he'll tell you if you have a top speed reduction, downforce reduction, or oversteer or understeer effects. With regards to wheel damage, it'll give you notice if it's a grip reduction and wheel alignment changes. And these new messages will only play if the spotter chattiness is set to high, and some of the existing messages about damage have been moved from high to medium chattiness. So there you go. So make sure you go into your settings and get those things adjusted so you get those new spotter updates. All right, and this one is the don't blink. If you blink, you might miss these in the patch notes. So there is a new season recap. So the new recap tab is on the profile page and also viewable in the companion app. Now, this was something you used to get via email in past years. That's a nice little change. They did a redesign to the settings page. And these next two are pretty interesting to me. They have a new protestable offense called unsafe rejoin. So this has been added to the protest violations list and updated in the sporting code. And after that, we have some new race control adjustments. This is mostly for oval racing. Cautions are now disallowed if the white flag has been raised, and cars are now allowed to pit with the leaders during cautions to reduce caution sequence by a lap. This is mostly going to affect dirt ovals and asphalt ovals, 1 mile, medium, and short distance. Now, this is done, of course, to reduce the length of caution race restarts. All right, and moving on to our last slide here are the series updates, kind of hinted at earlier. So the BMW M2 Cup for rookies will be every 30 minutes on the 15 and 45 minute mark, and that will be offset with the MX5 Cup, which will also be 30 minutes, top of the hour, and at the 30-minute mark. So they're trying to get you to go in between both series, basically. Go between the MX5 and the BMW, so you don't cut it too much into the populations of those two races. So I'll keep you busy for you new folk out there in the rookie class. So up next, we have a new bi-weekly 2-hour solo endurance series, which is a big one for me, as I am someone who loves running the Michelin Pilot Challenge from time to time. And this series will run odd weeks opposite the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge, and will feature the LMP3 and GT4 classes on track. And third on our list here, we have the Prototype Challenge Fixed. Now, this was previously the LMP2 Prototype Challenge, and so they are replacing the LMP2s with a GTP class instead. And for you open wheeler folk out there, the FIA F4 series is experimenting with some start time adjustments. So the fixed and open global series are going off hourly at the same time now, while the regional series will be hourly at the 30-minute mark. So I guess they're trying to get more people to participate in the regional series is what I'm kind of gleaming from this. And he also mentioned it being experimental, so they'll kind of see how it plays out and make adjustments going forward from there. And last on the list, 2 dirt series will be getting year-long special series, similar to how NASCAR does it, with a dirt super late model tour fix and a dirt 410 sprint car tour starting in February. That's pretty exciting for you dirt racers out there. So there you go, folks. There's a quick summary of the new updates coming to iRacing for Season 1 of 2025. Let me know in the comments below which items you are most excited for and or intrigued by. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for future iRacing content here on this channel. And before you go, check out one of my latest videos up over here in the right-hand corner. And until next time, folks, drive safe out there.